Peter, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Now, the first question I have for you is, in your experience, what do students entering first year varsity usually experience?
Well, it's quite a difficult transition going from school. Recently there were a lot of discussions about grade ones going to school. And I almost want to draw a comparison between that feeling and students leaving school and going into higher education. You would, of course, this is not applicable to all students, but you would often find young people struggling to adapt, may lead to some anxiety, depression, and that gets worse over time. There's, of course, specific reasons for that kind of feeling or an anxiety. And I believe that if young people are aware and also the supporting structure of what causes this, they will be better equipped to deal with those feelings, because in most instances, merely feelings.
So are you saying that right now most students entering their first year aren't aware that this might happen to them?
No, I think they're aware, but there are very specific stages in this transition period from school to higher education. And depending on their personal level of emotional intelligence or maturity, they would deal with it differently. But especially for the student who's slightly less emotionally intelligent, being aware prior to it happening, being aware of those stages will help them deal with it better. The first step or in the three stages, the first thing that's likely to happen is a sense of separation. They were part of a schooling infrastructure and a system. Often they lived at home, and now they're leaving home to either go into res or even worse, a different town or city to study. So that feeling of separation will happen, and sometimes they won't even be aware that it's happening and not know how to deal with it. So if you're aware that you're going to feel that way, or your support structure is aware that you're going to feel that way, they will be able to guide you, or you will be able to guide yourself through that process of feeling separated from what you used to. Then, of course, you go through a transition stage where you now have one foot still in your old life or with your family or school, and the other foot in the higher education institution that you're enrolled in. And that separation may lead to some kind of feeling of non-belonging. And the risk in that environment is that sense of I don't belong here may preoccupy your mind so much that you actually don't spend your energy where you should be spending it, i.e. your studies. And then, of course, the ultimate stage is your transition stage, where your incorporation stage, where you now fit in. You say, now I belong here, I left my previous life behind me, I'm no longer a school child, I fit into the university life, and now I can get my head down and study. And of course, the quicker you get to that stage, in your first year of study, the more energy you will have to spend on studying, which is your ultimate goal.